What's up? Friday. Ready to go home. So ready to go home. Like, let's go. So anyway, this is going to be a weird one. This is going to be more about life in general, not necessarily just nutritional balancing. It'll be just kind of like general philosophies and ways of thinking and common thinking versus non-common thinking, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, I was thinking about the other day that people value money. People value money. It's worth something. But at the same time, I was like, you know what? People don't really... I kind of disagree with that. What I think people value is hanging out with a good friend and having those memories and those times and those shared moments together. People value laughing, right? Everybody loves to laugh. Feels good. People value their pets, and the moments that you share playing with them and cuddling with them on the couch and all that kind of stuff, right? People value a nice warm meal, it makes you feel good. It's nourishing, you need it, it's energy, all that other kind of stuff. Clean water, people value that, and shelter, and a bed at night, something over your head. People really value that. I think I read something that was like, if every fish was caught and every cattle was slayed and every tree was uprooted, let me know how money tastes. It probably doesn't taste very good, right? Kind of, I guess, was what they were getting at, and I kind of butchered that. Why? What they're getting at is just that money is just money. I mean, we put value behind it. So, I guess a lot of things I've been thinking about lately is kind of like breakaway societies, or off the grid, I guess is kind of what they're called nowadays. And I was like, yeah, if you think about it, I know a guy on YouTube who basically does microgreen sprout farming in his house in Baltimore, in an urban city, in the spare bedroom that he has. And that guy basically makes enough sprouts and he eats it. So he didn't have to go to the grocery store, right? He literally grows his own food in his house, right? There's another guy on YouTube, Curtis Stone, has like a third of an acre. That's like a backyard, right? And he does his growing on that, and he's able to actually make a living off of that. He's growing so much. So I'm like, okay, so what do you need, right? You can grow your own food on your property, you can eat. Boom. People value that, right? Most properties, you dig X amount of feet down, you get a well. Boom, right? It rains a lot. Rainwater harvesting. Boom, right? You got some water that you can deal with, right? You're going to need a home of some sorts, right? Pretend you build something on the fly, or you do some sort of, what are they called? Like double wide, single wide mobile homes, or even RV style home. Boom, right? People probably value land. You were able to get an acre of land somewhere in like Oklahoma or something, right? Somewhere, or maybe North Texas Panhandle or something. Relatively cheap piece of land. Boom. You got your land, you got your house, you can grow your own food, you got your water, Okay, maybe you need like a cell phone or something like that so you can be connected to the internet. But other than that, we spend so much time like going to work and driving in the cars and making the payments and doing all this other kind of stuff. And it's just like, it just seems unnecessary. It's like, if you were to really think about it, if you could just break away from society and, kind of spin up those 4 or 5 things I was just talking about and sustain yourself, why would you go through this madness? It doesn't make any, it's the rigmarole of this whole thing is just, it's kind of insane, So it was kind of just like a thought experiment, right? Like, if you could just break free, if you could create a template for people. That's another thing. Well, imagine that. You created a template for people to break free, so like anybody can do it, Like, hey, you save up some money, you make let's just pretend you save up like 10 grand or something. Dude, we can totally get you self-sustaining, do X, Y, Z. And it's really reasonable. How many people would do that? And then they could like enjoy, as on the nutritional balancing program, a lot of it's just development, right? You spend a lot of time developing, that's meditating, doing detox procedures, and a lot of people get to this point where the kingdom of heaven is within, and they're really focused on the inwards, and they don't really have that need to go and do all this other kind of stuff, right? So, yeah, I don't know. Just thought that was cool. Thought that was something I should explore a little bit more. I'm sure people out there are having these same thoughts on their Friday when they're driving home. They're like, the madness of it all, you know. And what do you do it for? These few things that you need, and then the few things that you actually need. But the funny thing is, the things you actually need, you could probably do on your own. Wild.